Roger, what do you think they do at that point?
Yeah, well, and I think it also depends on what the division looks like, because if they feel like at that point in the season, they know they have 2 more division games, and then like Chris said, the Vikings and Raiders are possibilities, then you have to think about it as we can win these games and still have a shot maybe at playoffs or whatever. If the Commanders are 8-5 at that point, like you're pretty close to them, right? Same thing with the Cowboys. So I think it really all depends on what the division and everything looks like as a whole at that point. But like you guys said, like if Russ Wilson is the problem or something like that, then I think they can give it a good excuse as to say, all right, we're going to toss Jaxson Dart in here and see what happens. But I think if they're 6-7, I would be more surprised if they did that than if they didn't. Like, I think they'd have to have like 3 or 4 wins at that point and say, all right, the season's over. We have no chance at this point. Let's see what Dart can do.
Yeah, and what some people may say is they may say, well, look what they did in Eli's rookie year, right? I think the team was 4-3 or 6. They had a winning record. 5-4. And they said that they pulled the plug, but that's a completely different scenario. He was the first overall pick. I think with Jaxson Dart, you're afforded the luxury as a late first round pick if you're in playoff contention to sit him out the entirety of the year.
Well, it's interesting because Anthony makes a good point. It has a lot to do with context. If the Giants have snuck by some of these games because they've relied on the defense and Russ is playing below average, then maybe you do say, even if we go 2-2 or, what is our future here? We're not going to win a Super Bowl, but Russ isn't playing well. He's been playing subpar. What does this benefit us at this point? And Eli, he started to us where we were 5-4. Kurt Warner was kind of brought in to be a backup. I don't think Kurt Warner was happy that he got sat. I think Russell Wilson knows at some point that's going to happen. He's kind of playing for a contract this year. But you wonder, I know Eli struggled kind of a little bit at the beginning of his career. That rookie season, he was dreadful. He was about 50%. They were 1-6 with him in there. He was not very good at all. Honestly, he was bad. But the next year, the Giants went 11-5, and they went to the postseason. They won the division. And Eli, if I'm not mistaken, was top 5 in touchdown passes. Now, people can point interceptions all they want, but he threw 24 touchdowns. So how much of that rookie season, him getting his feet wet, learning the NFL, learning the speed of it, learning the defenses, learning the playbook, learning everything else. Now, obviously, getting Plaxico Burress helped him in 2005. But it's something you live, Jaxson Dart. Let's put him in there. Let's get him the experience now. And you know what? Let's just see how he plays. If he plays really well and they go to the playoffs, then Giants fans are going to be like, all right, man, this is our guy. Well, what do we got here? I'm excited to see the future. And if he stinks, you can just say, you know what? You got him some experience here late in the year. They were meaningful games. Let's see if he can grow from this because he's going to have to prove himself at some point. So you drafted him, you traded up to get him 25th overall for him to be your future quarterback. So I can see both sides of the argument. I would love to be in that scenario, Mickey. I'm hoping
that'd be great.
We are 6-7, and they have to make that decision because I don't want us to be, 3-10, and we're going with Jaxson Dart without question.
And kind of what Quote said, he kind of stole my thunder with what Anthony had to say, and who knows, how do we get to that 6-7, right? But looking at our schedule, I kind of side more with Quote. I find it very hard to believe if the Giants start 6-7 against this challenging of a schedule, Russell Wilson's playing poorly. I think he's at least playing pretty well if the Giants are 6-7, which is why I don't see them benching him at that point.
Yeah.